you so much for coming back to Sarita Talks. It is such an awesome and just really mind-blowing experience to talk to Dr. Jeremy Maxwell.
Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Listen, he is leading us through a series. And what you are hearing from this man's mouth, in actuality, people pay for. So you better be grateful and thankful that he is sharing it with us. But you also need to utilize his services so that way we can keep perpetuating this chiropractic, but it's a different type of chiropractic.
It's a chiropractic model that we want to help people think a little differently. But what the Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics. So it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple Wellness Way clinics across the United States that think and act differently, solving health challenges that others can't.
Now I like that, solving health challenges that others can't. So just to touch back on last week, because it was such an awesome comment that you made, and it was kind of like an analogy, and it really resonated through my mind that when we go to the doctor, it's like our house caught on fire if something happens. And then when it's time to put the house back together, we don't call the same doctor or the same fireman or the same policeman, or what we do is we start rebuilding and restoring. Yep. So I know we were talking a lot about arm fat Annie right here. Arm fat Annie. Oh, terrible. I know. And I pointed it out. I was looking for a jacket, but I left it in the car. Regardless, some of us are a little fluffy. We have a little bit more meat. And it's a big deal about losing weight, but there's misconceptions. And me and him kind of bonded because I was talking about I like all the food and I still get out and work out, and you cannot train away a bad diet. So if you want to expound on that and then tell us the other misconceptions, and I'll try and smooth down my arm fat Annie.
Yep. Okay. Well, I know last week we talked about the 3 most common things that people associate with good health.
Mm-hmm.
Good diet, sleep, and exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, you can't out sleep, you can't out exercise, and you can't out organically eat your way to better health.
True.
Now, that being said, some people do actually manage their health pretty well by getting good sleep, eating organically, and exercising, and never get tested. So I'm not saying that can't happen. But the majority of the people that do seek us out for help are kind of at the end of their wits' end when it comes to health. Like they've consistently gone to the fire department for help, maybe even put out the fire, but they keep seeking the fire department out for health restoration when they don't have the right tools or the right education for that. So I'm trying to help people see the fact that, oh, wait, I need to actually see somebody different for this. And so when it comes to, say, weight loss or fluffy butt, or would you say flabby arms?
Flab arm Ann. Flabby arm Annie trying to readjust it. There we go.
We have to remember that everybody is bio-individual.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are at an age where you are definitely not old. Okay. There's a lot of people that think that, though. A lot of people think that, when
that 45 is older,
that we're old. And that's just simply not true.
Mm-hmm.
But you are at a stage where some women are like, am I still getting my period? Am I in, pre-menopause?
Mm-hmm.
Which really, that's just a made up term. That's not a real physiological thing. Certainly there is a transition. That's what I would prefer, that you transition from a menstruating female to then you don't.
Okay.
Now by medical definition, they're going to say you're in menopause when you've gone at least 12 months without a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women kind of ebb and flow through that. And some have come in and been without a period 2 months when they come in, and then we start working with them, and then, sorry, you got your period back because we kind of normalize some physiology. So when it comes to weight loss, a lot of misconceptions that are out there can be that, oh, well, if you just exercise more, eat less, then that should make you skinny. If you can get, 8 hours of sleep, that'll do it. Or if you just get off sugar, that'll do it. I mean, do those things work for people?
Yes.
I mean, I've seen people go off sugar in a month and lose, 15, 20 pounds, especially guys. Women, probably 5 to 10 pounds maybe doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some get tested, get off the foods, get off the sugar, and still not lose weight. So you have to consider all the different factors, because there's typically going to be 2 or more stressors that maybe haven't been identified. you know.
And
So
I like that you know to identify those, because we spoke about the the medical industry, nothing to discount them. It's not so much a lack of education sometimes or a lack of wanting to, but it's time. They have so many patients to see each day. So they don't have time to go through your blood work and tell you exactly what you need to be doing, or to have that holistic conversation with you. Like, this is a little high, this is a little low. So they're, like he said, they're going to put out that fire, but there's some work that we need to do amongst ourselves.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There's some conversations we need to have with us ourselves as to, hey, what can we do differently? So now and I really like this about the Wellness Way. There's a difference between a man and a woman. So I know, right?
Well, I just had an epiphany.
Yes. And you can't put everybody in that little box.
Nope.
You can't. And it, like you said, age is perceived to be a certain way by certain industries, you know what I'm saying? And it just goes on and on.
A good example of the difference is sleep.
Okay.
So for anyone who's watching, maybe even in the comments, how many hours of sleep per night should a man get versus a female?
Okay, so I'm going to say a female should get 9 and a man should get 8.
It's pretty close.
Okay, tell me.
So most men, in order to kind of remain healthy, should get probably between 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
Women need to get 9 to 10.
Ooh, so you let me sleep in, and while I'm asleep, why don't you do a load of laundry and cook me something to eat? Okay, just putting it out there for who you hear me? You hear me? All right, go ahead.
So I mean this potentially ruffles some feathers, but this is my worldview on life and my role as a man.
Okay.
I am the provider and the protector.
I've heard that before.
Have
I seen it?
I don't know. Like personally, or like
staring at me. We're just bonding.
You're just bonding.
Yeah, me and
but that's the way my wife and I operate.
Mm-hmm.
That
does not mean
that I don't help cook meals. It does not mean that I don't do laundry from time to time. Very little, because she's like,
you don't do a good job.
Leave that alone.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine, I'll just bring home the bacon.
Okay.
Sometimes I bring home the bacon and I cook it.
Oh, there we go. Protect and provide.
But there are things that I feel like I need to protect her. So sleep is one.
Okay.
So a good example of this, because I'm not anti-alcohol. I think, within reason, people can consume that and it not absolutely wreck their health.
Okay.
But there is also no benefit whatsoever health-wise to drinking. Not even wine.
So the whole red wine at nighttime is a myth.
Yeah. Like the amount of resveratrol that people think they're getting from red wine is minuscule compared to, say, just sipping on a bottle of Japanese knotweed herb that has tons of antioxidants.
Japanese knotweed herb.
So that has a lot of resveratrol in it, which is a very high antioxidant.
Okay.
But
Japanese.
So me being the provider and the protector, what I have noticed with my own health is if I get too much sugar, and let's just say I have like one drink every other night. Okay. I snore. And if I snore, that means I don't sleep and mama doesn't sleep. And when mama's sleep is interrupted, mama gets stressed. Mama gains weight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I decided, I think I'm on almost, coming up on a week, just cut it all out.
Okay, of no drinking?
No drinking at all.
Okay, okay. So,
because number one, I want to make sure that my wife stays healthy. I want her getting good sleep. Dude, I need good sleep.
True.
Now I've always just been a 5 to 6 hour guy, which I know is not good. But when I take the alcohol and really limit the sugar, I get a little closer to 6 to 7.
Okay. Now, we always talk about sugar, but sugar is in lots of sneaky, deceptive foods. Tell us a list, if you know one, of the sneaky, deceptive foods.
Well, it's going to show up in maybe some of your high protein, like snack bars.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of those drinks are the devil. Yeah. Stop drinking Monster Energy drinks. Stop drinking, because for real, I think those are some of the most harmful things to our bodies. Would you agree?
Absolutely. A lot of them are banned in European countries. All right. So those of you who are joining us live, do us a big favor. like,
Subscribe.
share, subscribe, and comment.
That's right. That's
All
right.
We're kind of focusing on weight loss today,
Mhm.
maybe some myths that are out there. And there's certainly been some things that have, been debunked over time.
Right.
Even I still kind of wince a little bit when I say, yes, it's true.
Yeah.
If you want to lose weight, there has to be less caloric intake and more burning of calories.
Mm-hmm.
But the calories matter.
That's true.
All right. So you can't be like, well, I'm eating 500 calories to 800 calories worth of Krispy Kreme, and then I'm going to go crush it in the gym.
Yeah.
You're going to freaking pass out.
Yeah.
That's not
good.
feeding your body.
Mm-mm.
So we still have to give our body nutrients in order for rebuilding to take place. But you also have to, if you're going to lose weight, you have to limit some of those caloric things that come in.
Absolutely. And I know you talked a lot about supplements and how good that the supplements are, but you cannot just, I'm going to take some supplements and I'll be just fine.
Yep.
So you do some testing in your practice. So tell us about how the Wellness Way and this testing is just a different form of approaching well-being.
Think of it this way. When you take your car to the shop this day and age, everything's so digital.
Yeah.
In order to figure out what's wrong, they hook you up to some electronical things and they do like a digital diagnostics and they go, oh, here's potentially what's wrong. Here's what is wrong and what needs to be replaced. We're no different than that. Physiologically, when we run blood and urine samples and stool tests, it is basically a physiological print of here's what your current lifestyle is doing for you. So we can get a good picture of what's going on with your thyroid, your adrenals, your blood sugar. Is it regulated well? Do you have a lot of inflammation? And there are multiple factors or markers that can show where different areas of the body are inflamed. So, there's.
Do you know some of what are some of our biggest assassins when it comes to inflammation? Because there's lots of different, your head can be inflamed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like
we talked about that a little bit.
We did. Yeah.
When I was using like those, $9 words.
Yeah. Those are at least 25. Go ahead.
Bad diet, bad food, inflamed gut leads to an inflamed brain. You can be toxic from mold exposure, heavy metal exposure, which can come from just, maybe living near, coal factories and, different nuclear reactors. And, there's things that have been recommended by certain health professions to put in your body since you were a child that can accumulate different metals and things in your body.
Right.
So, again, there is no one cause, one cure.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. What do you feel about faucet water? If we don't live next to a coal mine or a nuclear waste dump, can we drink faucet water?
Not in Columbia, Missouri.
Ooh, why? What's wrong with it? I do it all the time.
It's terrible.
Oh, no, my friends tell me
Erin
not to.
Brockovich, right?
Yeah, she wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, she was.
This was Columbia?
That was one of them. No. Yeah, and if you want to know more, I'll give a little shout out to my buddy Matt Backus with Aqua Zero Labs here in town. Our whole house is set up with his system of reverse osmosis. That dude knows everything about what you need to know as an individual and a family about what you drink. And Boone County and Columbia is some of the worst tap water.
Wow. Well, I hear that's everywhere. Don't drink it out of the tap. So
you need to be doing some kind of filtration that is going to pull heavy metals and even medications. Okay, because a lot of people dump their birth controls, their meds down.
I've heard of that. Yes,
like into the system. So
like there's a whole bunch of estrogen in the water. Is that a? Yep. Okay, so we're going to leave the water alone because clearly,
but you have to again when you look at the whole 3T model,
toxins, trauma.
Think about you go through all this effort to really make your body work at its best, and then you sit under a faucet that's spitting out heavily chlorinated water
straight into your pores.
And I can't even remember the short-term verbiage for what these bad chemicals are in the water, but you will absorb that stuff.
Right.
Thyroid is one of the main organs that's affected by chlorine and these different halogens that potentially can be in our water system. So So you have to be aware of what you're drinking.
Okay, now let me tell you this. I also saw, because I was investigating all the awesome things that you do, that when you, a couple times a week, do you do this in your office, like an introduction to the wellness way?
Yep.
Give us a little bit of that if you don't mind.
So, I mean, I think you can agree to this. If this can happen versus this happen, we would prefer this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So there's a level of connection and education that we want our clients to participate in. So twice a month, most months we offer this twice a month, but we have an event for people to come and learn about inflammation or certain topics health-wise that we, marry together with the Wellness Way. So next Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, they're at the Wellness Way Columbia. They're at 2401 Bernadette Drive, Suite 209.
Are you going to live stream?
We will live stream
Nice.
from Instagram is typically what we do.
Okay.
I may try to figure out, how to get another computer. Maybe I'll just StreamYard that bad.
That's exactly what you'll do. But we're not going to talk about it until they give us some money. But we're going to listen. Here's the thing. Don't you love it that they're going to teach you what they're doing for you? Because when I go into the doctor and I'm that carbon copy, that cookie cutter image, they're going to say, well, Sarita, you're overweight. Sarita, you're borderline diabetic. And here's your medications. See you in about 6 weeks. So that's what I get there. When I go see you, first I could have went to an informational, discussion. You take questions from the audience?
Oh, absolutely. I usually get through the whole presentation. We take time to take questions at the end, because I want people to be informed about what we do.
Yeah. And
I want you to decide whether it's a good fit or not.
Yes.
I can say we don't accept every patient. It's just, some people are not ready yet to make the change.
Okay.
So there's nothing more frustrating for the patient and for the person who's trying to lead if they're, fighting you the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like if you're going to save somebody's life and they're drowning.
And they start punching you. You're supposed to leave
them. You're both going to drown. So sometimes you just want to sock them in the head and just say, hey, I got this. Just let me lead. And that happened a couple of weeks ago. A lady, she wasn't upset at me, but she came in frustrated, not because she was unhappy with her doc. It was just it was a little difficult to get in, but she just didn't feel like she was putting all the pieces together. And so this girl took it upon herself to really try to figure it out. And she just said, I just need somebody to walk me through this and then give me the plan. I said, that's what people pay me to do.
Right.
I wouldn't come into a home decorator or interior design person. I might bring in some of my Pinterest ideas and go, hey, this is what we want, but I would not tell them what to do and then argue with every idea that they had. Like they're the expert at that. I'm the expert at building back bodies and restoring health.
I like that. Restoring your health and building back your body, because we're all at a starting point, and it just depends on when you really want to get started, when you're really ready to take that step. And the fact that you are, wise enough and also kind enough to say, hey, listen, this is a service that costs money. It's not covered by insurance, but I still can't accept you because you're not ready yet. That's a quality service and that's a quality individual. And I remember on our first talk, we were saying that you had a couple of clients and you were really trying to get a good grasp on what was going on with them. Has there been progress?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And some of them, I'm still trying to figure it out. I was on the phone with a guy before we came here he's desperate. He literally feels like he's dying. And the labs don't necessarily say he's dying, but he perceives them to be that way. Yeah. So it's just like, look, I know it's scary when your body's not cooperating the way you want it to. And so it does get to be a challenge, even though as much as I believe in the fact that our way of thinking is the right way of thinking, and I want all health challenges to be solved, I have not solved them all.
True.
I just haven't. And I hate that. I literally stay up at night because of that. But I have no control over what people do on a day-to-day basis to their bodies.
Right.
And I think there's been many things throughout history that people have done because they've been led that this is a good thing to do. That it does create irreversible damage.
Such as having things removed from yourself.
Yeah. When you remove organs, that changes physiology.
Right.
So that's why, again, we come back to the whole fireman carpenter approach. we're not replacing the medical field.
Yeah.
We need them for emergencies. We need them for surgeries. We need them in case things need to be cut out or medications are necessary at time. We've just put them way too high a priority, and we've turned it into a norm. Like I literally did this research thing preparing for a live months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Females born in 2019 will spend 60% of their life on medications.
Okay.
And males born in 2019 will spend about 50% of their life on medications.
Wow. That's 2019 and 20.
That should absolutely make you want to vomit.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Because, like, I mean,
because we should be in a more advanced space where we don't need all these medications.
That's precisely
right.
Like if we were to just follow the medical model to everything they recommend, from
the food chart
to the jabs to the medications. Can you show me the superhumans?
No, not at all.
When is enough, and when have we arrived at? I've taken every pill, every jab, every food pyramid thing. Like,
well, we arrived all right. We arrived at big pharma. That's where we arrived, and that's a whole nother conversation. But let's circle back to let's cut out sugar. So we cut out sugar, and that might be working. What else can we do specific to a woman, and what else can we do specific to a man?
Yeah. So women, again.
Ooh, and tell them about intermittent fasting and what you told me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when it comes to intermittent fasting, again, we can't put everybody in the same box. Female physiology is different than male physiology. And we know that based on how you guys deal with stress. Okay, when you're under a lot of stress, your body will take progesterone and convert it to cortisol. Our bodies don't do that. So it messes with your cycle. What happens to women who are stressed, who are still menstruating? They start skipping periods.
Yeah.
So women obviously need more sleep than men. We established that. When it comes to sugar, certainly there'll be a little bit different effect on each of our bodies. Sugar will convert our testosterone into estrogen.
Oh, no.
You know, I think probably too much sugar in your bodies could potentially still do the same, but the stress creates more cortisol problems and a lot more insulin resistance. So from a intermittent fasting standpoint, men definitely get away with it more than women as far as like sustainability or long term.
Okay.
You know, a woman who does that more than really 2 months is going to put more stress on her adrenal glands.
So no, we don't want to do the intermittent fasting.
And really you need to get tested before you do that.
Okay.
I mean, if you're like morbidly obese, you've got pounds and backup.
You got it to lose. Yeah.
But, you know, when I've you know, got a girl that's like, yeah, I'm going to intermittent fast, and I can already tell she's fit, has a six pack. I'm like, nope, you're going to
you don't need
pretty
that.
much crush your adrenals and you'll have nothing left in the tank. And how do we know that? Because I take care of women who thrive on working out.
Yeah.
But they feel like they have days they have to recover after one little workout. I'm like, yeah, because you don't have anything in the reserve tanks.
So it's good to have something in the reserve tanks. But we were talking about just the difference between men and women. And I really feel like that's something that the Wellness Way has the lock on, that they really, this is way before you're going to, you know, a proctologist or an oncologist or all these tologists, or, you know what I'm saying, that are just gender specific or whatever. So when we go on Instagram, and where else can we find you? Where are you? Tell us where you're at.
We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Threads. We do some Twitter. I don't really have a YouTube page at the moment. I do, but I kind of shy people away from there because we're rebuilding that. Okay. Let's see what else. I think that's it.
Well, let me
tell you.
We do
have a webpage.
Yeah, and Wellness Way has some awesome content.
Yep.
I learned so much about myself just from watching one of the tutorials. So if they want to watch something, just go and check out the Wellness Way.
That I would recommend is, number one, go to the adp.thewellnessway.com. Can I put that in the comments?
Yes, you can.
Let's do that.
Let's go. And while he puts that in the comments, I'm going to tell you about the things that I found just about feelings that a woman might have as though you're menopausal. Should you get something removed? Like, oh, I've been told that maybe I have a cancer gene. Should I just go ahead and have that go? No. These are not the things we want to do with ourselves. We want to give ourselves a little bit more of an opportunity to see if our bodies can heal each other, or heal ourselves. Yeah. And I remember he also told us about, hey, I cut my leg. Do I go eat a sandwich? Do I go to sleep and then maybe exercise or something and that heals it? And I'm like, yes. What's the answer?
No, the body's programmed to heal.
That's right. That's right.
And some people, you know what, that may not be your worldview when it comes to health. I think, again, medically, we've been very conditioned to believe that our bodies are broken. They have bad genes. Therefore, they're going to give you breast cancer. They're going to give you prostate cancers. They're going to give you uterine cancers. Yet at the same time, the research says, epigenetics says, no, you change your environment to better. Yeah. And then you change how you express those genes.
True.
So, I think about like all this cool stem cell stuff. It's like when you're being formed, when the sperm and the egg come together and all that cell differentiation starts to happen, how is it that a cell that is not a kidney yet knows to become a kidney? And how is it that the pancreas knows to become a bunch of pancreatic cells?
Because we're fearfully and wonderfully made. That's right. That's right.
So I just find it amazing that program is in there, that as it gets to a certain point of development, that it knows to begin to bundle and make a bunch of pancreas cells and a bunch of kidney cells and the lungs and all of those things. And then they all communicate together in the most beautiful symphony. And
guess what? It's the cogs on the wheel. You'll have to go back to last week to check that out. Somebody sent us some love. I appreciate it. He appreciates it. This is a series, okay? And every week we're going to delve into something new. So if there's something you want to see, go ahead and reach out. Tell us about it. I just want to challenge you to check out the Wellness Way and all the things that Dr. Jeremy Maxwell, along with many others around the country, are doing to help us restore our bodies.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to say, even though she is going to part-time here because she's pregnant, Dr. D. Patel is my associate, and she specializes in pediatrics and pre- and postnatal care.
Nice.
So, again, at her baby showers next week, and then after that, she'll be part-time. And then sometime towards the end of July through October, she'll be on maternity leave. But, if you are looking for a great place to bring your children and you want to get them under spinal care and good adjustments, we do all that. I take care of kids too, but I do push most of those to her just because that's her specialty and passion. And she loves taking care of pregnant women. I love taking care of anybody.
That's right. That's right.
But we do have some great options for people because, I don't know if you run across it, but I see frustrated parents all the time who are lacking sleep because their kids are under chronic stress of sugar, ear infections, coughs, asthma, and they just keep getting prescribed more antibiotics, more inhalers.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids did not get those conditions because they were deficient in antibiotics or inhalers. Their bodies are responding to something that should not be in there.
Oh, well, Mike Grubbs, thanks for getting on here. Great info. Love what you're doing. Wow, he actually owns the Lit TV network.
Oh, nice.
Information is the key. Mike Grubbs, you got a hold of me before, gave me an invite, and I'm waiting to hear back from you. When we know better, we can do better. That is absolutely true, Mike. And I feel like a lot of the audience doesn't get the concept that it's just little things. It's little things that you can do. But sometimes we're not pointed in the right direction. That's why I like the idea of blood testing. Sometimes stool testing. Wrecked them. Damn near killed them. But stool testing, you talked about this gamut that you run on your clients, and it's more than just chiropractic.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it over and let you just go on us.
The most people understand chiropractic to just be spinal care. Yeah. Now, the Wellness Way is more of a comprehensive model of chiropractic. So, I do think, words matter. Yeah. So, when I'm talking to people and I say, are you under chiropractic care? I want that to mean, are you getting adjusted? are you getting tested? Are you working on your lifestyle? And are you removing mental stress? Those are the things we look at in our office.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I was just an adjusting technician. So for the first 17 years of practice, most people said, oh, he just does chiropractic. Well, no, actually, I only did adjustments. And that's what really pushed me to this down the road, is I was so frustrated with what I was doing, even though I was getting great results.
Yeah.
You know, the best way I can say is, for some reason, I would adjust somebody and the Cheetos and the Big Macs they were eating were not converting to like carrots and celery. So it didn't matter how many adjustments I gave somebody, it doesn't change what they do.
True.
Just like I can't out adjust you smoking. I can't, she doesn't smoke.
No, not at all.
You can't adjust your way out of those bad habits. And so,
or drinking too much.
Yeah. So I started to just go, okay, I fought it. I didn't want to deal with, changing my diet. And, I was needing to, because my wife was realizing she couldn't do bread and different things. So it's like, again, being the provider and the protector, it's like, all right, well, I can't make her keep her sick. So I got to make some changes myself. And it's just been nothing but, awesomeness. I mean,
good.
Again, I want to continue moving forward with what I do and teaching this message, because I just think, why can't every 50-year-old look like this, right?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, this man stands up and I'm like, I'm just sick of you and your awesome physique. But he does the work behind it.
Specimen.
Yes.
He's
He's a nice specimen. He is. Yes. It reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day.
Not either. But we said this, I think, on the first episode. I said, hear me out, you guys. I may look like a specimen, but I also was a partaker. Lots of cereal for many years.
Oh yeah, this is the cereal eating kid.
Cereal eating fool.
That's right. That's right.
It was like Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles. I mean, you name it.
Breakfast of
give me
champions.
a bowl of just the marshmallows.
That's terrible.
I mean,
well, let me tell you though. So it's proof that you can change. Yep. So I want everyone to check out the Wellness Way. I want you to come back and see Dr. Jerry Maxwell next week. And then when is your live broadcast?
Let's see. Oof. It changes.
It changes.
I went live.
So you're just going to check it out. Yeah, but I'm saying for your informational.
Oh, for me, yeah.
Come on,
Next Tuesday night.
Tuesday evening.
Go to my Instagram page, the Wellness Way Columbia Instagram page. We'll for sure be live there.
Yeah.
Or please just show up to the office.
You go.
Prefer if you're local that you come to my office. But if you're not local, join us live on Instagram. And then also as patients, we do a lot of remote work.
Nice.
So, if you're here in Missouri, we can get you to either us. We have location in St. Peters, Missouri, and Seymour, which is near Springfield. And you can go to thewellnessway.com and you can look up where all of us are at. So I'm more than happy to work with you here locally, face-to-face, or even remotely. I don't do adjustments remotely.
How'd that go? Take your right shoulder and just yank it.
Right through the phone.
Well, listen, I want to appreciate you guys for tuning back in, learning something today. I want to thank you, Dr. Jerry Maxwell, and your awesome specimen for coming in and telling us how to be more healthy. I'm Sarita Tosin, keynote speaker, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Sarita Talks. Come back next week because this is a series, and we're rocking it like a hurricane. Let us
know some topics.
Absolutely.